Here today, two experts on the dark arts who've been on both sides. Roger Stone, who worked for Trump, Reagan, George W. Bush, and Richard Nixon, says politics isn't about uniting people, it's about dividing people. David Brock is a former conservative and Clinton antagonist who, after an epiphany, now heads Correct the Record. That's a pro-Hillary super PAC. First, Roger Stone, whose new book is, speaking of Hillary's record, The Clintons' War on Women. That dirty trick, or that combination of dirty tricks, actually hurts your guy because it boosted Ted Cruz. Do you nonetheless admire what happened relative to the Carson campaign?
Well, I don't admire it because they got caught. The question is, if it moved 3 votes per precinct from Carson to Cruz, it may well have cost Trump the first place finish. At a minimum, it has tainted Ted Cruz's victory, and I think it has also underlined certain narratives about his character. It's kind of like tricky Ted. So he gets no bounce out of New Hampshire.
Is it fair to blame Ted Cruz for his Roger Stone who got caught?
Was it fair to blame Richard Nixon for his Gordon Liddy who got caught? The blame goes to the guy at the top, whether you like it or not.
Is your guy a billionaire and a miser? Front page story of the Times today says that Trump has spent only $12 million in the last calendar year, that he's lending himself money in this campaign. He could end up making money because of the sale of tchotchke, like the hats and the T-shirts and so forth. A, is that true? And B, is this why there's no ground game? Because he won't write the check.
Well, first of all, the whole discussion of the ground game and its expense, while it was true in Iowa, New Hampshire is a completely different animal. New Hampshire is media-driven. Ronald Reagan didn't come back in Iowa, probably come back in New Hampshire after losing Iowa because he had a superior ground game. He came back because he destroyed George Bush in a debate only days before the vote in New Hampshire. That's why this debate tonight is crucial for everybody. Trump could put it away tonight. Rubio could gain substantially tonight. Everything's on the table tonight.
Donald Trump, I think a rookie mistake, got snowed out of New Hampshire because he likes to sleep in his own bed. What's that all about?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. In between Iowa and New Hampshire, Ronald Reagan spent a solid 2 weeks in New Hampshire without ever leaving the state. He was out throwing snowballs, speaking at schools, and so on. I do think they want to see you on the ground, and we're now to the point where every hour counts. That said, nothing is more important than tonight's debate.
David Brock is going to be here in a moment. Whose opposition research file is bigger? What Trump has on Hillary or what Hillary has on Trump?
Well, David has far more money at his disposal than I have, but on the other hand...
Because Trump won't spend it.
Well, but it didn't matter. I spent it. So the Oppo dump on Hillary can be found. It's called The Clintons' War on Women. You can go to Amazon and buy it right now.
I want to show you something that Bob Woodward said on Morning Joe this week relative to her speaking style. And, you know, Woodward, not exactly a right-winger, which makes this, I think, of significance. Roll that tape.
I think a lot of it with Hillary Clinton has to do with style and delivery, oddly enough. She shouts. There is something unrelaxed about the way she is communicating, and I think that just jumps off the television
So, Bob,
screen.
it's interesting. Don't expect Roger Stone to say, hey, that's a sexist remark. But others are saying that's a sexist remark, and would we be so analytical of a man in a similar situation?
Her problem is actually worse than that. She's incapable of sounding sincere. She is a hard time lying with a straight face. She never sounds like she's telling the truth. She could be reading off the breakfast menu, and you would assume that she's lying.
But the pitch, the intonation of the voice is what I'm focused on.
Actually, I think it's got a phony quality to it where she always sounds like she's reading. She sounds like she's reading from something that someone else wrote or someone else gave her.
I mean, I remember here on CNN after the debate at the Reagan Library, I was on the panel and said relative to Carly Fiorina that I thought her content was strong, but that she needed to smile more. And people were all over me saying that was a sexist comment. Do we treat women differently, even maybe without knowing so, than we treat men?
Very clearly. In one interview, I described her as shrill, and the hate mail I got was extraordinary. But if we are in an age of equality and everybody wants to be treated equally, then the sincerity and the tone of Hillary Clinton are certainly fair game.
Roger Stone, thank you for being here as always. Now for the other side, Politico says that David Brock, the conservative who switched sides and is now running a Hillary super PAC, is helming her plans to go after Trump, and he joins me now. Hey, David, first of all, is that true? It was Glenn Thrush who reported that you're the guy building the Hillary opposition research file on Trump.
We are doing that. Yes, we are.
And what have you got so far that you think hasn't been, no, but listen, that hasn't been played by one of his Republican opponents that could work in primary season?
Sure. Well, look, the reality is that the Republicans have not waged a campaign against Donald Trump yet. And the reason for that is they're afraid of alienating his supporters. So you have Jeb Bush calling him a jerk. Everybody knows that. You have Ted Cruz saying that he's not a real conservative. That might work in a Republican primary. It's not going to be a Democratic strategy. So we are going on the Democratic side to wage the first campaign against Donald Trump. And I think it has two parts. Basically, part one is his record in business. That's what we have to work with. He's never been elected to office. And so you got to look into that and see who suffered at the hands of his success. Was he really self-created? So getting at his brand and whether there's real truth there. And I think the second really important thing will be a national campaign against bigotry, because what Trump is campaigning on, kinds of things he said that in a Republican primary maybe he gets away with, is not going to fly with a general electorate.
Would you say that maybe some of what are regarded as his faux pas might actually be his greatest strength, because the sort of statements I think you just referred to offend many, but also drive that base of his?
They do drive the base. I mean, the question is that we're going to see is there any more of that base left? Is there more white vote than we know about? Because he's certainly alienated Hispanics, he's alienated women, and those are indelible for those communities. I don't think it goes away.
Hey, David, I want to show you Hillary Clinton speaking on the stump in New Hampshire, and then I'm going to ask for your reaction. Roll that tape.
So, New Hampshire, come with me this week. Make this journey with me. Stand up for me. Fight for me. And when we win, I will stand up and fight for you every single day. Thank you, and God bless you.
What did you make of the Bob Woodward comment and comment from others that she shouts and that she needs to rein that in? Is it sexist?
Hinge of sexism to it. I mean, I think you can overdo that as well. And, we're both men and we don't always see it. But talk to women candidates. Gender bias is out there. And I do think some of the comments about Hillary's tone, we saw it in 2008, Michael, in the primary with President Obama. We saw sexism in the media. Sometimes it's overt, sometimes it's subtle. And what you need to do, I think, to guard against it is to try to identify it and call it out when it happens.
Should she be playing more hardball with Bernie Sanders, in David Brock's opinion?
No, I don't think so. I think the campaign's handling things just right. I think that there's a role for others. I'll say that I thought in this debate the other night, it was a test of presidential leadership that Hillary Clinton passed with flying colors and that Senator Sanders failed. It was almost embarrassing how he handled and mishandled the foreign policy questions, where clearly he thinks that ISIS is the answer for every problem in the Middle East. He couldn't handle the Afghanistan question. He thinks a vote 14 years ago is basically all he had to work with. So I think that he got an F there. And the really incompetent, embarrassing, shocking part of it was on his signature issue on Wall Street reform. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Secretary Clinton had to take him to school on what Dodd-Frank actually is. He's talking about putting a tax on Wall Street speculation when in fact it's a tax on the middle class. So look, you referenced earlier that Senator Sanders is going to be on Saturday Night Live tonight. Hillary Clinton is going to Flint tomorrow to deal with that crisis. He's going on a comedy show. That's about where we are.
Brock and Stone, or maybe it would be Stone and Brock. What a firm that would be.
Like a law firm.
Of the dark arts, as I like to say. Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Thanks
both
a
of you
lot.
being here.